$100. You ever been worth $100? I remember when I was a kid, probably 7, 8 years old, down on the river in the edge of Florida. Spent a lot of time there with my granddaddy. We were down at the river at the boat ramp, watching a fellow load his boat. And he got done loading his boat up, and we knew who he was. He come walking up to my granddaddy and was in need of $100. And him and granddaddy talked for a couple of minutes, and granddaddy reached back there in his hip pocket. And he come out with his wallet. And it had one of those accordion style picture files, I guess you call it, like everybody used to have pictures of your grandkids and all that. And in his, there were two pictures in each sleeve, one facing away from each other. So we had one grandkid on this side and one grandkid on this side. And he reached between those pictures and he pulled out some money. And he opened it up a little bit there, and it was $200 bills folded together tightly. And he took one of them and he handed them to the fellow there at the boat ramp. And again, they had a few words about when he was going to pay him back and that kind of stuff. While they were having that discussion, I remember thinking, man, that has got to be the most powerful wallet I've ever seen in the world. Because I can think back then that if I could just get my hands on one of those $100 bills, just one of them, man, I could turn the world upside down. I could do anything I wanted to do. I'd be something else. My granddaddy wasn't a rich man by no means. He was always managed to have a little money, but he wasn't wealthy or anything like that. And it took me a while before I learned that it wasn't the money that made the man, it was the man that made the man. And my granddaddy was a great man. And after the fellow got his money and left, went on about his business, I asked my granddaddy, why you keep that money in there? He said, son, that way I know all the time that every one of my grandkids is worth at least $100. And I thought that was $100, back then was some real money. And I thought that was pretty fantastic, that I'm always worth $100. That was a special day, I guess. I don't know, it stuck with me. I don't know what was really special about it, but just the fact that it taught me that $100 ain't what you think it is. Who's holding that $100? What kind of character does that person have? That's what's going to make the difference. Not the money, but who's holding it, and what do they intend to do with it. And that was just one of the things that my granddaddy shared with me those years ago. And that reminds me of another story about my granddaddy that I'll share with y'all next time. But ask yourself, are you worth $100? If you ain't, do something about that. Fix that problem. And make sure your kids and your grandkids know that regardless of what you got in your wallet, you're worth more than money. We'll see y'all next time.